We suffer more often in imagination than in reality. Seneca. My friends, let's be honest here. You've been up at night, scrolling, replaying the same memories in your head, wondering if they're thinking of you. That knot in your stomach, that crushing silence, it feels unbearable. But let me tell you the truth that nobody wants to say out loud, chasing them, begging, explaining. It doesn't bring them back. It only makes them run faster. Folks, I need you to lean in, because what I'm about to share will flip the script completely. And before we dive deep, smash that like button, hit subscribe, and join this brotherhood. Because once you hear this, you'll never beg for attention again. Hey folks, imagine this. You're standing in front of a door, knocking, pounding, begging for someone to let you in. The more you knock, the more they push the lock tighter. But the moment you stop knocking, the moment you walk away calm, strong, silent, something strange happens. They come to the door, wondering why you're gone, why the noise has stopped, why their control isn't working anymore. That's the power of silence, my friends. That's the power of Stoic strength. But let's break some lies. You've been told that love means proving yourself, proving your worth, chasing after someone who no longer sees it. You've been told that if you explain harder, cry louder, apologize deeper, they'll finally wake up and see your value. Lies. All of it. The harder you chase, the weaker you look. The more you explain, the less they hear. Epictetus once said, "How long are you going to wait before you demand the best for yourself?" That moment is now. Think of yourself as a fire. When you burn too close, too hot, people get comfortable, they get careless. But the second you pull the flames back, the second you let the night grow cold, they realize how much they miss the warmth you gave. My friends, people don't value what's always available. They value what they fear losing. And right now, your greatest weapon is not your words, not your pleading, but your calm, controlled absence. I know what you're thinking. But won't they forget me? Won't walking away mean they move on? No, my friends, walking away is not weakness, it's strategy. It's like a general stepping back from the battlefield, not because he's lost, but because he's drawing the enemy out of position. Marcus Aurelius said it best. You have power over your mind, not outside events. Realize this, and you will find strength. You can't control their feelings, their choices, their actions, but you can control you. And in that control, you become untouchable. And here's the fun part. When you stop chasing, when you start focusing on your life, your goals, your purpose, something amazing happens. You glow differently. You walk differently. Suddenly, they start noticing. Curiosity creeps in. They check your social media. They ask about you through friends. They wonder why the man who once begged is now silent, calm, unshaken. That mystery, that strength, it's addictive. Folks, you don't need to scream to be heard. Sometimes silence is louder than thunder. This journey is not about tricks or games. It's about becoming the kind of man they regret leaving, the kind of man who doesn't just survive heartbreak, but transforms because of it. It's about turning pain into power, loss into strength, rejection into redirection. And the truth is, when you become that man, they will come back, 100%. The real question will be, will you even want them then? So stay with me till the end, because I'm going to show you step by step how to shift the power, how to stop bleeding energy into someone else, and how to rise into the man you were meant to be. This isn't just about relationships. It's about life, about strength, about reclaiming your throne. Remember, my friends, you are not weak. You are not broken. You are becoming unstoppable. Type this in the comments to claim it. I am the prize. Say it, write it, show it, and don't forget, press that like button, hit subscribe, and join me on this path, Stay with me, because this is only the beginning. Number 1. Accept the break without resistance. We suffer more in imagination than in reality. Seneca. My friends, this is where the real test begins. The very first thing that will decide everything about whether they ever come back to you is this: your reaction to the break. Not what you text, not what you explain, not even what you feel inside, but what you do when they decide to pull away. And here's the hard truth. Most people fail right here. They panic, they beg, they plead, they write long paragraphs, they call, they try to reason, they try to force a door open that has already been locked from the other side. And in doing so, they throw away the very thing that could have turned everything around: their calm acceptance. Think about it like this. Imagine a warrior in battle whose shield is broken, whose sword is knocked from his hand. The enemy expects him to panic, to fall, to beg for mercy. But instead, he stands tall, steady, his eyes calm, his breathing slow. He doesn't move with fear. He doesn't react with desperation. That moment changes everything, because strength under fire is unforgettable. That's what happens when you accept the break instead of fighting it. But I know what you're probably thinking. If I don't fight, won't they think I don't care? Won't they think I've given up? Won't I lose them forever? This is the fear whispering in your ear. This is the imagination Seneca was warning about. You suffer because you think silence means losing, when in reality, silence is the only thing that plants doubt in their mind. If you fight, if you beg, you confirm what they already think, that they have the power, that they can leave and you'll crawl. But if you accept, if you stand tall, you create a question that will eat at them. Why isn't he chasing me? Did I not matter as much as I thought? Did I lose someone stronger than I realized? Acceptance isn't weakness, it's the ultimate show of strength. Marcus Aurelius once said, "If it is not right, do not do it. If it is not true, do not say it." Begging, chasing, pleading, it isn't right, and it isn't true to who you really are. Because the real you, the powerful you, isn't desperate. The real you doesn't need to convince anyone of your value. And when you live in that truth, you send a silent message louder than any words ever could. Let's go deeper with this metaphor. Imagine holding sand in your fist. The tighter you squeeze, the more it slips away. Your natural instinct is to grab tighter, to hold on harder, thinking it will keep the sand in place. But the opposite is true. It's only when you relax your grip, when you open your hand, that the sand can rest in your palm. Relationships are like this. The harder you squeeze, the faster they slip away. The calmer you remain, the more likely they'll return. And yet, why is it so hard? Why is it so difficult to accept instead of resist? Because the human mind hates uncertainty. It craves answers. When someone leaves, your mind starts racing. Why? What did I do wrong? How do I fix this? You think action will solve the pain. You think if you just explain, if you just show them, if you just try one more time, it will click. But this is a lie. They didn't walk away because you didn't explain enough. They walked away because they felt something was missing. And feelings cannot be argued with. Feelings cannot be convinced. They can only be replaced, reawakened, or reignited. And that begins with your calm withdrawal, not your desperate pursuit. Look at nature for the lesson. A river doesn't beg the rocks to move out of its way. It flows, steady, patient, unstoppable. Over time, the rocks reshape, the path clears, and the river always finds its way forward. That's you, my friends. You are not meant to break yourself trying to move what doesn't want to move. You're meant to flow, to remain steady, to let time and silence do what words never could. I want you to remember this. Acceptance is not about pretending you don't care. It's not about shutting off your feelings. It's about saying, I cannot control what they do, but I can control me. That control, that inner calm, is magnetic. It makes people stop and question, and here's the secret. They will come back not because you begged them, but because you didn't. They will come back because you created space for doubt, space for curiosity, space for them to realize what they've lost. Of course, there will be nights when your chest aches, when your hand hovers over your phone, when your mind screams, just one message, just one call. But that's when you remember this truth. Every message you send in weakness pushes them further. Every moment you resist, you pull them closer. The battle is not out there. It's in here. It's in your mind, your discipline, your strength. So, my friends, rise above the fear. Stand tall in your silence. Accept without resistance. Let them believe you are calm because you know your worth, because you refuse to break your dignity for anyone. That's when the seed of regret is planted, and once it grows, it never stops. Write this in the comments right now to lock it into your soul. I accept. I rise. Show it to the world, show it to yourself, and let everyone around you know that you are not a man who begs. You are a man who breathes calm when others expect chaos. Press that like button, subscribe to join this brotherhood, and stay with me, because what comes next will show you how silence, true, powerful silence, becomes the weapon that makes them come back 100%. Number 2, master the power of silence. No contact rule. Silence is a source of great strength. Lao Tzu. My friends, let me tell you something most people will never admit. Silence is louder than begging, louder than explanations, louder than all the paragraphs you could ever write. The moment they walk away, your instinct will scream at you to fix it. Your heart will push you to reach out, to send a message, to call, to show them how much you care. But here's the truth. They already know you care. That's why they felt safe walking away. What they don't know, what they don't expect, is your silence. Picture this. Imagine a musician who has been playing a song non-stop. At first it's beautiful, but eventually the constant sound becomes background noise. The moment the music stops, though, the silence feels deafening. That's what happens when you go no contact. Your absence, your quiet, becomes louder than all your words ever were. Suddenly they start wondering, why isn't he calling? Why isn't he fighting for me? Did I not mean as much as I thought? That question is the spark of doubt, and doubt grows into curiosity. Curiosity grows into obsession. But here's where it gets hard. Silence feels like losing. It feels like doing nothing when every part of your body is screaming for action. You'll convince yourself that reaching out is the right move, that one little message will fix everything. But ask yourself this, if chasing worked, wouldn't they already be back by now? If begging fixed things, why hasn't it fixed them for anyone else? Folks, chasing doesn't heal, it only confirms their choice. Silence, on the other hand, unsettles it. Epictetus said, "It's not what happens to you, but how you react to it that matters." Going silent is your reaction of strength. It shows that you are not dependent, not desperate, not crumbling under pressure. You are calm, you are still, and in that stillness you send a message. I am strong enough to let go. That's power. Now let me break another lie. People will tell you that no contact is a game, that it's manipulation, that you're just trying to trick them. Wrong. Silence is not about punishment, it's about perspective. It gives both of you space to feel the reality of life apart. And guess what? That space is where their mind begins to wander back to you. That's when the memories resurface, the laughs, the late-night talks, the little moments that only you shared. They can't feel those things while you're blowing up their phone. They can only feel them when you're gone. Think of silence like a mirror. When you stop reaching out, they're forced to look at themselves. They're forced to sit with the reality of their decision. And here's the secret. They don't expect it. They expect you to fight, to beg, to prove. When you don't, it shakes them. It makes them wonder if they miscalculated, if maybe you were stronger, more valuable, more independent than they realized. And that wondering is exactly what pulls them back. But let's be real, it won't feel easy. Nights will feel long. Your hand will hover over your phone. You'll write messages and delete them. You'll check their social media, wondering what they're doing. That's when you must remember, silence is your battlefield. Every time you resist, you win. Every time you stay quiet, you shift the power back into your hands. And in that discipline, you're not just making them question, you're transforming yourself. Marcus Aurelius wrote, "You have power over your mind, not outside events." That's what silence teaches you. You stop trying to control what they think or feel, and you start mastering yourself. You stop giving them your energy, and you start reclaiming it. And here's the irony. When you stop chasing, that's when they start. So don't look at silence as absence. Look at it as presence. Your presence with yourself, your growth, your focus, your mission. You are not punishing them, you are protecting you. And when you protect your energy, when you build your strength, they feel it, they notice it, they can't ignore it. Because nothing is more attractive than a man who refuses to beg, a man who refuses to lose his dignity, a man who can stand in silence and still radiate power. My friends, the silence you hold today is the sound of their regret tomorrow. Trust it. Lean into it, let it work for you. And when it gets tough, when your heart aches, remind yourself of this truth. Every word unsent, every call you don't make, every text you delete, it's another brick in the foundation of your power. Write this in the comments right now. My silence is my power. Show the world you understand. Show yourself that you are committed, and let this brotherhood stand together in strength. Press that like button, subscribe, and stay with me, because next we're going to talk about how to use this silence to transform, not just to wait, but to rise, so that when they do come back, they'll find someone far stronger than the person they walked away from. Number 3, level up and glow up. Waste no more time arguing about what a good man should be. Be one. Marcus Aurelius. My friends, listen closely. This is where most people get it wrong. They think no contact means sitting in the dark, sulking, waiting for that phone to buzz. They think the silence is a holding pattern, a pause button until their ex comes crawling back. That's the lie. That's the trap. No contact without self-improvement is just hiding, but no contact with growth, that's transformation. That's the glow-up that makes them regret ever walking away. Picture this, a seed buried underground. From the outside it looks dead, invisible, forgotten. But underground, in silence, it's changing. Roots are forming, life is stirring. And then one day, it breaks the surface, stronger, greener, unshakable. That's you during this phase. On the surface, you're quiet. But beneath the silence, you're building, transforming, becoming someone they won't recognize, the kind of person they'll regret losing. Let's break another lie. They told you that the best way to win someone back is to prove your love, to keep showing them how much they mean to you. Wrong. That's not attraction. That's desperation. Attraction isn't built on begging, it's built on value. And the truth is, you don't raise your value in their eyes by talking. You raise it by becoming, by leveling up, by glowing up so hard that when they see you again, their first thought is, how did I let that go? Think about it, folks. Imagine you were fired from a job. If you spend months sitting around doing nothing, complaining, blaming, you're still the same person they let go. But if you use that time to sharpen your skills, to get stronger, to become better, suddenly that company realizes they didn't fire just an employee, they let go of an asset. Relationships are no different. When you stay the same, they feel justified in leaving. When you rise, they start doubting their choice. And here's the psychology behind it. Regret doesn't come from what you said after the breakup. Regret comes when they see you living, thriving, and improving without them. When they thought you'd crumble, but instead you shine, that's when it hurts. That's when the power flips. Because deep down, people crave what they can't control, and nothing screams control like a man who refuses to break. So what does leveling up look like? It looks like hitting the gym, not just to build muscle, but to prove discipline to yourself. It looks like focusing on your career, your purpose, your finances, not because money buys love, but because ambition is magnetic. It looks like reconnecting with friends, building your social life, finding joy again. Not because you're trying to make them jealous, but because happiness is contagious, and nothing is more attractive than a man who radiates it. Now let me give you a metaphor that'll stick with you. Imagine a blacksmith heating metal in the fire. At first, the metal is weak, bendable, easy to break. But with every hammer strike, every blast of heat, it becomes stronger, sharper, unbreakable. That's you right now. The heartbreak was the fire, the silence is the forge, and every step you take toward leveling up is another hammer strike, turning you into something greater. But I know the fear that creeps in. You might be thinking, what if they don't see my progress? What if they never notice the glow up? My friends, don't worry about what they see. Worry about who you become, because here's the twist, they always notice. Maybe not right away, maybe not in public, but they notice. They'll scroll your page, they'll hear from friends, they'll sense the shift, and even if they pretend not to care, inside, the regret is growing. Marcus Aurelius was right. You don't need to argue about what makes you valuable. You need to become valuable. You don't need to chase anyone to prove your worth. You need to become so high value, so magnetic that they chase you. That's leveling up. That's glowing up. And when you do it right, it doesn't just bring them back. It makes you strong enough to decide if you even want them back. So take the pain and make it your fuel. Take the silence and make it your forge. Rise so high that when they look back, they see a man who is no longer waiting, no longer begging, no longer weak, but a man who has become untouchable. That's the moment they'll regret, and that's the moment you'll know you've won. Write this in the comments to lock it in. I rise in silence. Show yourself, show the world, and claim your strength. Press that like button, subscribe to this brotherhood, and stay with me, because in the next part, we'll talk about the secret weapon. How to trigger emotional memories so deeply that they won't just miss you, they'll crave you. Number 4, trigger their emotional memories. Men are disturbed not by things, but by the view which they take of them. Epictetus. My friends, let's get real. Logic doesn't bring them back. Explanations don't bring them back. Telling them you've changed, sending long messages about how much you love them, that doesn't work. Why? Because attraction is not built on logic. It's built on emotion. People don't chase facts, they chase feelings. And if you want them to feel the pull again, you must stop trying to convince their mind and start speaking to their heart. That's where emotional memory comes in. Picture this. You're walking down the street and suddenly you catch the faint smell of a perfume, the same one someone you once loved used to wear. In an instant, you're not just on that street anymore. You're back in their arms, laughing, remembering moments you thought you'd forgotten. That's the power of emotional memory. It bypasses the walls of logic and goes straight into the heart. Now, here's the mistake most people make. They either suffocate their ex with constant reminders, desperate posts, sad songs blasted across social media, or they hide so completely that they vanish like they never existed. Both extremes fail. Too much and you look desperate. Too little and you're forgotten. The key is subtlety. Strategic reminders that stir emotion without screaming for attention. Think of it like planting seeds. A vague post that only they would recognize. A photo at a place you both loved, but without mentioning them. A lyric from a song tied to your story. You're not reaching out directly, but you're reminding them of the bond, of the laughter, of the little moments only you two shared. And the best part, it makes them wonder if you still think of them, without you ever saying a word. But let me break the lie here. This is not about manipulation. You're not playing tricks. You're simply awakening what's already inside them. Because here's the truth. They don't forget you. They can push you away, they can block you, they can act cold, but the human heart has no delete button. Memories sit there, waiting for the right trigger to wake them up. And when you trigger emotions instead of chasing logic, the longing comes rushing back. Now think about this. What hurts more, reading a text that says, "I miss you," or suddenly being reminded of a night you laughed until your stomach hurt? The song you both danced to, the trip you never wanted to end. Words can be brushed aside, but memories sink deep. They replay when they're alone, when the world goes quiet, when no one is watching. That's when the regret grows. There's a reason nostalgia is one of the most powerful emotions, because it's tied to joy, to comfort, to home. When you spark nostalgia, you're not just reminding them of the past, you're making them feel it in the present. And that feeling is what makes them compare life without you to life with you. It creates a gap they can't ignore. But here's the challenge. You must control yourself. Don't overdo it. Don't send them constant reminders. This isn't about drowning them in the past. It's about giving them just enough to remember, just enough to feel, like a spark hitting dry wood. You don't need a fire hose. You just need the right strike to ignite everything. Let me give you a metaphor. Imagine an artist painting with light strokes. Each stroke matters. Too much, and the canvas is ruined. But just the right amount of color in the right place brings the entire image to life. That's how you use emotional memory. Small, subtle touches that bring the whole picture of your relationship back into focus. And here's what will happen. They'll scroll through their phone late at night, see something that reminds them of you, and smile. Then they'll wonder why they're smiling. Then they'll wonder why they miss it. Then they'll start to wonder if you miss it too. And that wondering, my friends, is the beginning of obsession. Epictetus reminded us that what disturbs us is not the thing itself, but how we perceive it. The same is true here. It's not the memory itself that makes them miss you. It's how they feel when that memory comes alive. You're not forcing anything. You're just letting the truth of what you shared speak louder than any text ever could. So trust the process. Don't chase with words. Ignite with feelings. Don't beg for their attention. Let nostalgia do the heavy lifting. The heart remembers what the mind tries to deny. And if you play this right, those emotional triggers will do the work for you. Write this in the comments right now. I awaken memories. Show yourself, show the world, and let this affirmation be your reminder that you are not powerless. You are powerful enough to stir emotions without saying a single word. Press that like button, subscribe to this brotherhood, and stay with me. Because next, we'll talk about the moment they finally reach out, and how your response can either make them chase harder or push them away forever. Number 5, respond with strength if they reach out. Never let the future disturb you. You will meet it if you have to, with the same weapons of reason which today arm you against the present. Marcus Aurelius. My friends, this is the moment many of you secretly dream of. The phone lights up, their name flashes on the screen, or maybe you get that little notification, "Hey, just checking in." Your heart starts pounding, your stomach flips. For a split second, you feel like everything you've been waiting for is finally here. But this is where the trap is waiting for you. Because most people, when faced with this moment, crumble. They rush in, they overreact, they dump out all their feelings in one desperate message, hoping that eagerness will seal the deal. And do you know what happens? The power slips right back into their hands. Imagine this. You've been standing tall, silent, unshaken. You've been the mountain in the storm. They finally decide to test the waters, expecting you to melt. They throw a pebble at you, waiting for the avalanche. But when you stand still, calm, unmoved, they're left unsettled. That's the effect you want. That's the power of responding with strength instead of desperation. Let's break a lie. You've been told that if someone reaches out, you need to grab that chance with both hands, pour your heart out, and make sure they know you still care. Wrong. They already know you care. That's not what they're testing. They're testing your strength. They're checking if the silence broke you, if you've been sitting by the phone waiting for their crumbs. The moment you leap at them like a puppy desperate for attention, you fail the test. But the moment you respond calm, detached, controlled, you pass. And not only do you pass, you flip the dynamic. Think of it like poker. They put down a small bet, a simple hey. Most men panic and go all in with their heart. But the high-value man, he matches calmly with a steady face, revealing nothing. That's what you must do. Short, polite, but detached. If they say, "How are you?" you don't need to write 3 paragraphs. You don't need to tell them how much you miss them. You simply say, "I'm good, hope you're well." That's it. Simple, clean, strong. Now, why does this work? Because strength creates doubt. They expected your weakness. They expected tears, apologies, eagerness. Instead, they get calm control, and suddenly their mind starts racing. Why isn't he chasing me? Did he move on? Did he stop caring? Did he find someone else? That doubt is not your enemy. It's your greatest weapon. Because doubt plants curiosity, and curiosity plants obsession. But I won't lie to you. It's hard. Your emotions will scream. You'll want to say more. You'll want to ask if they miss you, if they still love you, if they're thinking about coming back. But that's when you remember, you are no longer the man who begs. You are no longer the man who needs their validation. You are the man who stands in silence, who responds with dignity, who proves strength through restraint. Think of it this way. When you see a lion in the wild, does it rush at everything that moves? No. It sits, it waits, it observes. Its power isn't in frantic motion, it's in controlled presence. That's you when they reach out. You don't lunge, you don't crumble. You stay calm, and in that calmness, you become irresistible. Epictetus once said, "No man is free who is not master of himself." Responding with strength is mastery of self. It's proving that you are not owned by your impulses, not driven by fear, not controlled by the hope of getting them back. You are in control. And that, my friends, is the most attractive thing you can ever show. And here's the secret. They will test you again. They'll reach out casually, expecting cracks in your armor. But each time you stay calm, each time you show restraint, each time you prove you're good with or without them, you shift the balance further in your favor. The silence made them curious, but your strength when they reach out makes them regret. And regret, when mixed with curiosity, becomes obsession. So remember this. When they reach out, don't celebrate too soon. Don't hand over your power. Respond with strength, calm, and control. Make them feel what they never expected to feel, that you don't need them. That's what will pull them closer. That's what will make them chase. Now, my friends, type this in the comments to lock it in. I respond with strength. Say it, show it, claim it. Because this is not just about what you tell them, it's about what you prove to yourself and to the world. Press that like button, subscribe to this brotherhood, and stay with me, because next we'll dive into the power of mystery, how becoming unpredictable, unreadable, and untouchable will make them chase you harder than ever before. Number 6. Become a mystery they can't figure out. The more you say, the less people remember. The fewer the words, the greater the profit. François Fenelon. My friends, let me tell you a secret most never grasp. Predictability kills attraction. When they think they know your every move, when they can guess how you'll react, when your emotions are laid bare at every moment, you stop being exciting, you stop being magnetic. But the moment you become unreadable, the moment you start walking in silence and unpredictability, you transform into a mystery. And nothing, my friends, pulls people back harder than curiosity they can't solve. Think about it. Imagine a book you've already read cover to cover. You know the beginning, the middle, the ending. There's nothing left to discover. Do you go back to it with excitement? No. But what about a book that kept you guessing? One with twists, hidden turns, unexpected depth. That's the book you pick up again and again. That's what happens in relationships too. If they've figured you out, they stop reaching. But if you break their pattern, if you become that mystery again, they won't be able to stop turning the pages. Here's the lie many believe, that to win someone back, you must bare your soul, pour out your feelings, and explain every thought in your head. Wrong. That kind of transparency feels like weakness. When someone can predict your every word and every move, they don't have to wonder about you. They don't have to chase you. The human mind craves what it can't fully understand. When you stay mysterious, you create that craving. Picture this. For weeks they were certain you'd reach out, certain you'd explain, certain you'd crumble. But instead, you went silent. You leveled up. You didn't show them every detail of your life. You shared just enough. A vague smile in a photo, a trip without context, a hint of something new they can't quite put together. Suddenly, they're unsettled. Their mind starts racing. Where is he going? Who is he with? Why does he look happier? Why can't I figure him out anymore? That's the power of mystery. It puts you back in their head again and again. Now let me give you a metaphor. Imagine standing in front of a locked chest. You don't know what's inside, but you know it could be something valuable. That curiosity eats at you. It pulls you back again and again until you can't stop wondering. That's what you become when you stop showing your whole hand. You're no longer the open book. They're the one locked outside, desperate to know what's behind the cover. But why is this so difficult for most? Because fear tells you to over-explain. Fear tells you to post everything so they'll notice, to tell them your every move so they won't forget you. Fear says, if I don't show them, they won't care. But this is a lie. In reality, the more you show, the less they value. The less they know, the more they wonder. Mystery isn't about hiding, it's about creating space for their imagination to do the work. And here's the beautiful thing. When you become a mystery, you shift from chasing to being chased. They can't help themselves. Curiosity is wired into human psychology. When something doesn't add up, when a story doesn't have a clear ending, the mind keeps replaying it. That's why silence works. That's why subtlety works. That's why mystery is irresistible. Marcus Aurelius said, "Be tolerant with others and strict with yourself." Strictness here means discipline. Discipline to hold back. Discipline to stop oversharing. Discipline to let the silence speak. Tolerance means letting them sit in their own confusion, their own curiosity, without you rushing in to solve it for them. That is true control. Think of yourself as the moon. Does the moon shout its beauty every night? Does it post every detail about itself? No, it appears distant, glowing, half hidden, and people can't stop looking. The mystery makes it unforgettable. That's what you must embody. Not the desperate flame that burns out from overexposure, but the steady light that draws eyes without trying. And here's what will happen. They'll keep checking your social media. They'll keep asking friends about you. They'll keep replaying old conversations in their head, trying to connect dots that don't line up anymore. And the more they wonder, the more they feel pulled back. Not because you begged, not because you explained, but because you became a puzzle they suddenly need to solve. So, my friends, stop handing out your soul like free samples. Stop being predictable. Stop being the man they expect. Start being the man they can't figure out. The man whose silence screams louder than words. The man whose mystery keeps them awake at night. That's the man they chase. That's the man they regret losing. Write this in the comments to claim it. I am the mystery. Say it, show it, let it sink in. Press that like button, subscribe to this brotherhood, and stay with me, because next we'll talk about the secret that separates the average man from the unforgettable one. How reigniting your purpose will not only pull them back, but make you unstoppable whether they return or not. Number 7. Set boundaries. You are the prize. If you are distressed by anything external, the pain is not due to the thing itself, but to your estimate of it. And this you have the power to revoke at any moment. Marcus Aurelius. My friends, listen closely, because this part right here separates the men who stumble back into the same old cycle from the men who rise into their true power. They may come back, they may reach out, they may test the waters to see if you're still there, still waiting, still willing to hand them your heart with no questions asked. But this time, the game is different. Because you are no longer the man who begs, the man who explains, the man who lowers himself just to be chosen. This time, you are the prize. And being the prize means one thing: you set the boundaries. Think about it. A castle doesn't drop its drawbridge for every traveler who passes by. It doesn't open its gates to every stranger who knocks. It protects itself. It guards its treasure. It decides who is worthy of entering. That's you now. You are the castle. Your time, your energy, your love. That is the treasure. And not everyone deserves access to it. Not even someone who once had it. Especially not someone who took it for granted. Here's the lie you've been told, that if they come back, you should be grateful. You should take whatever they're offering, because second chances don't come often. Wrong. If they left you once without valuing you, what stops them from leaving again? Gratitude without boundaries is weakness. And weakness is what got you here in the first place. This time, you must be different. This time, you must stand tall and say, if you want me back, it will not be on the same terms. I am not repeating the past. Picture this moment. They reach out, maybe even say, I miss you. I want to see you. The old you would have jumped, heart racing, rushing to meet them, ready to forgive everything. But the new you, the Stoic you, leans back, calm, measured. You say, I'm open to talking, but I won't go back to what was broken. If this is going to work, it has to be different. That response is like thunder in their ears, because they expected easy. They expected the same you. Instead, they see strength, and strength is magnetic. But I know the fear in your mind. You're thinking, what if I set boundaries and they walk away again? What if being firm makes me lose them for good? My friends, hear me. If setting boundaries drives them away, they were never truly coming back. They were just coming to test, to take, to use. Boundaries don't push the right people away. They filter the wrong ones out. And if they can't handle the new you, that's not your loss. That's your victory. Marcus Aurelius said, "You have power over your mind, not outside events. You can't control whether they stay or leave, but you can control what you accept, what you tolerate, and what you demand. And when you demand respect, when you demand effort, when you demand consistency, you show them that you are no longer a man who will settle. You are the prize, and they must earn their place in your life." Think of yourself like a rare diamond. Do jewelers give diamonds away for free? Do they lower the price just because someone asks? No. The value doesn't change because of demand. The value stays the same, and people who truly want it will pay the price. That's you. Your value is non-negotiable. If they want back in, they must step up, they must prove, they must match your worth. Otherwise, the door stays closed. And here's the beauty of it. Once you live this way, once you stand in your worth, you realize something even more powerful. You don't just get to ask, will they come back? You get to ask, do I even want them back? That is freedom. That is control. That is the true victory of this journey. So, my friends, never forget, you are the prize. Set your boundaries, protect your energy, guard your heart like the treasure it is, because the right person will respect it and the wrong one will fall away. Either way, you win. Write this in the comments right now. I am the prize. Claim it, show it to the world, and let this brotherhood stand together in strength. Press that like button, share this video with someone who needs to hear it, and subscribe so you never forget your worth. Stay with me, because this is not the end. It's just the beginning of your rise into the man you were always meant to be.